Hey everybody, this is Phyllis Y. Whitley. If you have been spiritually victimized and traumatized, welcome to Spiritology Live. Yes, where I bring my #1 Amazon bestseller book to life. Each episode will be a raw, spiritual, metaphysical, holistic space of consciousness for self-healing as you learn how to break your religious shackles so you can master and manifest your promised land within today. Let's go. Hey everybody. Listen. I am so glad some of y'all have went way back and listened to my podcast, and I'm so glad that you have. What I'm going to do, I had to get everything together. What I'm going to do, I spoke about a lot of stuff about the man in the mirror, which really is the man or the woman, whoever you are. And we talked about a recap on moving forward before you continue in 2023 with my podcast, because a lot of people they don't think that prosperity and God goes together, even though prosperity is all over the Bible, even though the disciples had money, even though God prospered all of those people, all those prophets that walked with him and did his assignments. They don't know it because they don't really know the word. When you really know the word, this is why it is so crucial that you get in the church or under a pastor who preach that word to a point where you can't do anything but prosper, because it's the seeds that go into your ear gates and your 5 gates. And if you want to know more about that, it's in my book. Yes, my book is always, and will, at least this podcast, Spiritology Live. Go get my book if you haven't seen it or bought it or heard it, because now it is on Audible. And I'm going to, I should have been told y'all that. Some of y'all don't want to see it. A lot of people don't like to read. It's on Audible. So with that being said, I'm going from being comfortable with prospering in your promised land. I'm going from that to, knowing who you are when you look in the mirror, because, are you looking at the thieves that people, that the enemy put in your past? Are you looking at the thief of your future or the thief in your past? Either way, it'll keep you stuck. Now I am going to tell you about verbal agreements that you actually made with the wrong people. I say the enemy because the enemy is in you, which can be in me. That seed can be growing from your family members and siblings. And yes, I talk about family members because let me tell you, I always said, if you let them, they'll kill you and they'll come down to your funeral just to make sure you're there and just to have something to talk about. And you going, just letting everybody leech off of you and suck all your blood out. Oh, because I have to, because that is my sibling. That's my family. And in some bad cases, it could be your parents. So you better know God and you better know how to pray. With that saying, who you make your agreement with? I know people say, I have a team that works with me and pray behind closed doors and in secrecy, and they probably wonder, well, how did she get these things? I get my topics from them occasionally. That's a part of being in my Patreon group. So if y'all interested in that, you get to choose, and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and discuss that topic in my podcast, make it a topic. The other thing is, how do you come up with this stuff? People literally, I know when I was in training, I had a mentor, podcast mentor. And one of the things people were saying is, I don't know what happened if you run out. And these are people that were just trying to do it for a month. And I started out 4 times a month, 3 times a month. I think I'm at 3 times a month. Might go to 2. But with that being said, they kept saying, I may run out of topics. Let me say this to you. You should never run out of topics on whatever it is that you are that's going to be the main center of your podcast. If you see something where you see an ending, then do it seasonally. Just like maybe sports. But sports you can change over for one sports a group to another, from football to baseball to hockey. So do you understand what I'm saying here? You shouldn't run out. If you have a book like me, somebody once, and I give that person kudos, said, you can go into your book all day long and never, run out of a subject or topic. And I said, well, that is true. So everything that you hear from me is not chapter by chapter, because I'm not giving away my book like that. But it's some things from the book. You can break down your book. You can go for one page. That's why I encourage you, if you have a story to tell, you better go get a book first. You better create a book. Yeah, KDP is open all week long. So you can do that, or get somebody else to do the book. I had to do everything. I got somebody, and I learned real quickly, do it yourself. Self-publishing. Verbal agreement. Yes. Who did you make your verbal agreement with? Did you make it with your last boyfriend who beat you up morning, noon, and night? And now you don't trust no man. Matter of fact, you don't even want a man. Or did you make a verbal agreement, men, with the woman who came and took you for everything you had, and then went and slept with your best friend? Do you understand what I'm saying here? When you make an agreement with someone, you are literally entering into a contract. So you got to go back and look. This is why my whole counseling service, consultation service, mentor, listen, it's all about revising, revision, because you got to change. When you sit on that psychiatrist's desk couch and you pay so much money now, because of the pandemic and all of that, and online, virtual online is so great now to some people. You can just sit there on your own chair in your pajamas, and you sat back, and what do you think they doing? They in your past. What do you think a life coach is doing? A life coach is trying to help you develop your future. Like I said, you can never go wrong. Get a coach for the weekend, get a coach for that, get a coach for that. Oh yeah, verbal agreement. Now you get it? Now you're looking back and seeing who is the person or the people who you agree with. That's a verbal agreement. I'm not talking about somebody signed over something to you. When you was a teenager and your friends say, hey, let's go get in this car, let's go hang out, and all of y'all got in trouble and y'all went to jail. You signed a you went into a verbal agreement. It was no signature there, but once you walked in and jumped into that car, guess what? When you had the signs that person was no good because they started verbally abusing you, and you said, oh, they'll be fine. Then they went from verbal abuse to smacking you. No, I mean, I'm all right. They just made a mistake and hit me because, I was verbal back. Then they go from that to breaking your bone or putting you in the hospital, to the point that you in an undisclosed location. You know why? You signed a verbal agreement. It's a possibility when you allow them to do the beginning things that they did. And believe me, an abuser look for his next target. He studied him. That's why everybody don't get abused. And I'm not making you feel guilty because you was a target, but you notice that they're not going to go. You notice that you will find out. Let me tell you something. Most likely, if you go into that person abuser history, you're not the first one he abused, and you won't be the last. But why is it that certain people don't get abused? Because they look at that contract, they look at it and they see and they say, I am not going to be a part of this. I cancel this. I destroy this. No agreement with you. Agreement is very powerful. If agreement wasn't powerful, it's a contract. That's what lawyers out there, because you didn't live up to your agreement. You didn't You didn't fulfill your contract. Everything in life is a contract. When you go into the restaurant, you agree when you sit down and that person come and bring you a meal, that waitress agree. Once they take your order, they agree that they're going to bring you your meal. You go ahead and they bring it to you and you agree that you're going to pay for it. You don't get up and say, I changed my mind. Your attentions, your movement, your actions. Well, Miss P, it was their action. I mean, I didn't have no control. If you're a man, you may say, "Oh, her taking everything I have." Yeah, you seen some. She was showing you some actions or her motive when she started saying to you, I can't pay my electric bill. You paid that. I can't pay my gas bill. You paid that. I can't pay my rent. You paid that. Or when you just literally took her in your place and you knew she didn't have no job, you knew she didn't want to work, or maybe you listened to her excuses, but after 3 months, you should have seen what you had. Vice versa. Do you understand where I'm coming from? The contract. You've seen the signs. You have a right. If somebody is building your house and they putting up the foundation and you watch it, the only way you're going to watch it is because you are going to, you into that. You look in and you say, I have to see what's going on. Now, I'm not talking about somebody who live in another state and somebody's building something, but you want to see the plans. And you start noticing that they're putting the porch in the back where you ask for a porch in the front, where they're giving you one bedroom and you ask for 3. Do you understand? Somewhere you got to go back and say, wait a minute, we had an agreement. Well, when Miss So-and-so, I mean, we thought it'd be better. Suppose the person who was building the home told you that. We think it's better to have 1 bedroom. Okay. Do you see where I'm getting at? You are in control. You supposed to say, oh, no, I got the wrong people. Just like a relationship. Yes, honey. Some of y'all females want to get married so bad. You look at the television shows. I'm a romantic. I've seen all of them. And the main thing, you know what they talk about? Oh my goodness. The females say, I dreamed that this day would come. And they so into the whole thing with the and I don't have nothing against that. But you got to ask yourself, are you in love with the man? Are you in love with the fact that you're going to get married? It's going to be your special day up until the time of the wedding and the world is going to see you? I mean, that's beautiful, but that is not the foundation. Is that really love? Of course you want to look beautiful on your wedding day. That's why they got Brazilla. Y'all ever seen that? Literally, what happens is, with Brazilla, that was a reality show, and I seen it maybe about twice, and I couldn't watch it no more because the females were so mean that they wanted everything to go perfect, and they was just laying out all the people that was trying to help them. They was just, and their attitude was so ugly on the inside that, you looked at, and I remember one guy said, good luck, because I'm going to pray for your husband. Because they just in love with the whole concept of being married. And what happens? Those same people go into a marriage and the honeymoon is over. The lights are over. It's not shining in your face. Everybody's not looking at you. And they be like, oh God. When you picked up that woman at the strip club, and then she comes home and you listen to her side of the story, and then she come home and you let her come move in with you the next month. And you just sitting back and you just giving her everything because you feel, my mama went through that. So I'm going to help you. I see my mama in you. I see my grandmama in you. Yeah, grandmama probably stripped too. Don't fool yourself. And you know what you do? You turn around. And she said, I'm going to get a job. I'm here because I'm going through something. And then 6 months go by and she still don't want to leave. She's still stripping. And in some cases, she's stripping and you don't even know it. It depending upon what type of job you got, where you overnight or whatever, but you should know it if she's coming in at night. But she's stripping. You know what she's doing? She can't let go of that. She might be living with the thieves in her past, and somebody told her that that's all she'll be. That's all she good for being a stripper. So I'm not ragging on her. So see, she needs some mentorship, counselingship, because she don't want to let go. She's like, I'm not letting go of this. She love it, whatever. Because she have no reason being in the strip club if you brought her into your 2-story, 3-story house. You see what I'm saying? But then again, you have to realize what you signed here. And when you start seeing that contract dissolve or go in a different direction, and she, after 6 months, now I don't want to go, and you giving her applications and tell her, and she looking at you and you thinking, well, I don't want you to be the mother of my kids and be a stripper too. Then you sitting up there, and next minute, she start taking all your money, and you wondering, and oh my goodness, and they tell you, you literally left her in charge of going online and paying the mortgage, and she didn't pay the mortgage. And then you set up and say, women are no good, or particular women are no good. And so the point I'm trying to make is you have to inspect, do some inspection, just like when you buy a house on that person. And it's the job. And some of you say, well, I just got to take a job. I took jobs just to take them. But at the same time, while I had that job to get me through, I was literally studying some of the best jobs. How do I study it? I went and specialized in something. I went in and got the training for where I wanted to go. But I didn't make a verbal agreement with my enemy. Your enemy can fall in all shapes and sizes. Your enemy could be your boss. Your enemy can be your siblings. Your enemies can be your family. What did you agree with when you let your nephew come in who the parents told you they kicked him out because he didn't want to work? He come to you and say, well, you know what? They old fashioned. They really don't love me. They love my older siblings. And you say, okay, come on in here and get yourself together. And then you start giving them applications, and they look up at you and they go to one job and last for a week. And then you look up, you see, you went and swapped agreements. You took their agreement and their contract verbally, and you didn't trust what they were trying to tell you. You get what I'm saying? God said you should know them by their fruit. Well, Miss P, what difference was the agreement? I don't understand what agreement got to do with anything. What is that? Oh, well, you know what? Let's go to the Bible. Because of course you don't believe me. Matthew 18:19 says, again, I say unto you that if 2 of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of the Father which is in heaven. That's Matthew 18:19, King James Version. I'm going to say it again. Again, I say unto you that if any of you should agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them. And I might have not said that last one. It shall be done for them. What is that? Manifestation. If you go into the wrong contract, you're going to manifest that, because God is saying there's power in agreeing. That's why your conscious and your subconscious should agree. If you're conscious, where the news media and everybody, they go after your child consciousness, what they see was going at 5 gates. But if they start believing in it and that seed drop down to their subconscious mind, they start walking around like my last podcast and see in there, they look in the mirror and all they see, well, I don't look like what Hollywood say I'm supposed to look like, so I must be ugly. They made an agreement. You have to make sure you undo it. That's where revisions come from. That's why I told you about you sitting on the couch. You sitting on the couch, and that counselor, that psychiatrist is getting paid to revise your past. And if they don't revise your past, you sitting there, they just paying you. They just getting rich for nothing. Inspect what's going into your subconscious mind. Because if you don't like what you see in the mirror, like I said in my last podcast, it's a possibility you entered into agreement with the thieves of the past, or should I say the enemy of the past or the enemy of the future. Well, Miss P, what do I do from there? Help me with that. What I just told you. What did I just tell you? See, now that you know you have this contract, you need to destroy it. You need to tear it up spiritually. Go to God. Meditate about it. It is so many things you can do. You can replace the old with the new through meditation, through prayer. Go and learn more. Fill your temple with knowledge about what way to go. You have a relationship that might be good. Go learn more about how to enhance your marriage, how to date each other when you're married. Go learn more about real estate. Go learn more on how to build your own property. Go learn more on how to cook so you can open up a restaurant, or so you can have an online food company where it's delivered through the mail or whatever in your community. It is so many things you can do. I knew a lady who used to love shoes. A lot of y'all love shoes. Don't you know you can go ahead and start creating them? You ever watch Shark Tank when people going in there because they need the investors, millionaire investors to help them get a start? They created something. They invented something. You understand? You can turn around and say, how do you know? Well, every time you go into a store or something, you say, oh, I just can't find these shoes. I love this shoes, but only if it had this on it. Oh my God. Why can't that shoe look like that and then put it together? Guess what? Why can't you go buy it? Why can't you go, well, you might have to buy the shoe, the copy of it. Why can't you make a shoe? How many people is really into the, which I love that, is into comfort wear yoga pants, and they totally change. And they said, well, you know what? I know these yoga pants roll down off of me. Why don't you go ahead and make some? I'll go ahead and do a podcast on that. But do you understand what I'm saying? When you decide what you're going to do, you just enter into a verbal agreement with the universe and taking action. God is waiting on you. You must take action. Just like you walk around and you are in a situation where you don't like the woman or man in the mirror, or you don't like the person that you looking that's across from you and they're doing you wrong and they're treating you wrong, you need to tear up that agreement. And you can't look back. Some of y'all leave the wrong person. You know they no good to you, the person who's treating you wrong, and you go into that relationship, get out the relationship, and the person come back in. They always show back up, and you go back. I changed. Well, Miss P, you said it. You know we can change. We can change if you have to go into that verbal agreement. Go and have a relationship with God first, and ask God, did that person change? And then you go into it and you have a verbal agreement, but you have a contract with contingencies. I'll take you back, but. Could you imagine that? Don't go into a relationship. I'm laughing, but I'm talking about regular relationships. I'm not talking about a person put his hands on you. If a man abuse you, you have no reason. I don't care if he come out and he got 2 angels standing by his side and a halo on his head, and he says to you, excuse me, but you know I changed. Okay. Well, you know, Miss P, you wrong, because he could have changed. If you want to step back in there, go ahead. But I wouldn't. I would say, you know what? I trust that you doing good, and I will continue to pray for you. And I hope God bring you the woman that you want. Because I'm not her. Sometimes you have to realize the person only in your life for a season, and you have control of whether or not you take that contract and you make it a 5-year contract and you change it into a 1-month contract. You have the power. You have control. I hope you learn something from this. Inspect your subconscious mind and see what's going down in there. Do it even for your kids. Well, how do I do it for my kids? Oh, you would know. You would know who they're hanging with. Yeah. If your child don't want to do nothing, if they an idol, or they coming home and every word come out their mouth sound like a cursing rap song. I have nothing against rap, but I do choose not to let that go into my ear. So I don't need to know what you have to say with cursing. It don't sound right. And I remember telling somebody this one time, a mentor of mine, and I said, you can't, when you cursing like that, I was talking about somebody else. You cursing like that. I said that has everything to do, because we was talking about the spiritual realm. You're going to weep what you sow with that. So, no, I don't believe in that. I think you're supposed to be yourself. Okay. The person who thought that, I want you to think about this. You got a job. You go into that job tomorrow and you go into your interview and say, bleep the bleep the bleep the bleep the bleep the bleep. Ooh, excuse me. See if they call you back for that job. You go to college and you go inside for orientation and you raise your hand, the bleep, the bleep, the bleep, the bleep, the bleep. I had teachers, professors who, curse once in a while, but they didn't make everything cursing. So how did I get on that? The point I'm saying, you will see with your kids coming in, you will see like attract like. What is in their subconscious mind? You will see even your mama. Your mama keep talking about, please go get some painkillers for me, because you look and see how much she meditate on that commercial that's talking about is your leg hurting. I'm telling you, some of y'all have the wrong contract with even your doctor. If your doctor believes in just giving you more pills on top of more pills, you better run, because they do have good medical physicians out there that would lead you down the road that is not all about chemicals that your body don't even know about. Make sure you don't have a wrong agreement. You might be having a lawyer who's not doing his job. Cancel that agreement. Now that's a verbal step, and that could be a signature, but it could be something that you went and got consultant from. You might have got somebody in the law. Be careful who's coming to you and counseling you. Be careful where you going to get your information, because even if you get your information, you enter into a verbal agreement. And remember when God said, if you agree, you're going to manifest it. That's why you want to stay around somebody. And I don't want to say a group of people, but maybe a group of people who everybody wants to manifest. You may stay around a group of people who are investors, a group of people who are sports fanatics, and you want to literally agree because you say, hey, wait a minute, we want to go to Super Bowl together. Hey, wait a minute. We want to do investment together. We want to network together. You are entrepreneur. You need to make sure that your agreements are with the people who see your vision, who got the same vision, or somebody who literally is above your vision because you want to go where they're going. Do you see how you literally can make an agreement with the wrong group, the wrong person, the wrong organization? Get out as fast as you can and go back to the drawing board and keep developing that relationship with God, that He can give you the spirit of discernment. What is that? To kind of know, how you have that unction, that gut feeling, to know when you walk in the room with somebody that this is not right, to know when you walk in the room with a group and you say, "Nah, I don't even think I want this job," to know when you get ready to get into a relationship and you won't be so desperate that you ignore all the feelings that the Spirit is trying to show you. This is why God needs to be on your side, so you can literally discern, because this world got a lot of interesting characters. And you know what? I can go on and on and on, but I a little bit went out of time, so I'm not going to go no more. But this is what I'm going to say to you. I'm going to read you the quote to end it. Well. Okay, excuse me. As you sow in your subconscious mind, so shall you weep in your body and environment, by Joseph Murphy. Do you understand what seeps down and get buried and marinate in your subconscious mind? You're going to weep it. So the next time you're not weeping the stuff that you want, you need to not only look in the mirror, but you need to say, what kind of contract did I just get myself into? Wow, thank you for coming to my space. please go out and tell them everybody about this book. It's on every place you can think of. Spiritology. Go get it, because I don't know who you know. What's new? Well, my book is everywhere. I'm going to concentrate on my ACX, my Audible. Audible, you have no excuse. I don't have time to read. I have time to read. I have time. You have time to listen. That should be your self-care. Not only my book, but other books that you are going to, literally when you sit down with a book, you're making a verbal agreement. And I guarantee with the verbal agreement, I'm like Snoop Dogg said, I got the Midas touch. I get testimonies for a reason. I have people who come and work with me and their life went from 0 to 100. You understand? Sometimes you just speak the word. You have the Midas touch. God will put his word in your mouth and you can just speak it and that person come back and say, oh my goodness, you remember what you said? It came to pass. Yes. Thank you. And always remember that as loving yourself is right, you don't want to be wrong.